Mm.
Cool. All right. Let's see what we got here. So we're gonna go ahead and start. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Hi, class. Welcome. Today we're here to discuss the third chapter of Unleash Possible, also known as the Ice Cream Sundae Workshop. Now, some of you might be wondering why it's called the Ice Cream Sundae Workshop, but don't worry, we will explain that very soon here. Like to introduce ourselves as a team. My name is Ziad.
I'm Kayla.
I'm Noel.
And I'm Alex.
And that's our team. So to go ahead and jump right in, we're going to discuss a little bit about what this chapter is really about. So this chapter is really about the reality of facing where and how collaboration falls apart within teams and organizations, and also how we can kind of alleviate that symptom that plagues many organizations. So to go ahead and jump right in, when we think of sales versus marketing, which are two very different departments, we find a couple things here. So to start with sales and how salespeople think about marketing. So salespeople think that marketers are clueless to what happens in the field and often think that they slow them down and they produce this useless content that they'll never really use. Conversely, the marketing folk from the marketing department will think that salespeople have these huge egos, they're too commission focused, and in general, they are too lazy. Now, this is a big issue that plagues many organizations and why collaboration falls apart between these two departments in specific. Before we go on, we do have a discussion question for you guys. First being, why do you think that collaboration between departments is important? And secondly, has there ever been a time where communication breakdown has adversely affected your group or professional work? So go ahead and think about that and let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. Moving on, we'd like to discuss cross-functionality. So in the book, they actually asked about 123 plus organizations to answer a few questions and studies, and you'll see a lot of that throughout our presentation. Now, cross-functionality actually leads to 19% faster revenue growth and 15% higher profitability for organizations. Wouldn't it be great if everyone could just get along and work together? Now, the first question asked was, can you rate the value of marketing to sales in the past 12 months to both the sales and marketing departments, respectively? Now, the sales department, 49% say that the value has actually improved significantly, whereas only 20% of marketers said so. So there's a pretty big difference there. Now, again, from these 123 plus organizations, they also asked to rate how well marketing and sales agreed with this statement. So the statement was, at my current employer, my marketing coworkers do a superb job of supporting my sales effort. How much do you agree with this statement? And as we can see here, marketers are actually much more critical when it comes to rating this statement, with only 23 of them agreeing, whereas salespeople, 59 of them agreed. So there's a pretty big difference there. To discuss this further, I'm happy to introduce Noel, who will go more deep into this.
All right, so when asked the true or false question, my sales team is rewarded for supporting marketing's objectives. We see that 60% of sales respondents vouch that they do feel they're being rewarded for their support. And we see that marketing respondents feel that sales is not rewarded enough for their support, with only 18% of respondents agreeing. And the biggest difference between marketing and sales responses was when the question, are sales reps follow up on what percent of marketing supplied leads? Less than 20% of marketing respondents said that the sales team follow up on 95% and up. And the sales team shows that they believe they're fulfilling a better job, with 50% of their salespeople agreeing, really ultimately showing a big disagreement between them and marketing respondents. We also see a disagreement between sales and marketing collaboration when it comes to the sales tools that the marketing team generated. And the next question asked was, what percent of available sales tools are used regularly by sales? When we interpret this chart, we see that regardless of the fact that sales tools made were not used by the sales team, Over 50% believe that they use 100% of the tools, and only 15% of marketers agreed with this, showing a real disconnect between how marketers and sales team view the work that the sales team is doing. So moving on to the Ice Cream Sunday workshop, the core of where the workshop comes into place starts by recognizing that the sales and marketing responses towards different processes can make it difficult to produce change because of the disconnect in their opinions. To preface this, some of the problems include that despite 4 weeks into the effort to improve collaboration between them, there was very little progress. And the generation manager feels that the sales don't follow up on every lead, and the sales team just ultimately wasn't agreeing with this. The sales team also was regularly on their phones during weekly meetings and didn't hesitate to answer any emails or texts. The solution to these problems, one of them was a 2-hour workshop was set up with strict guidelines, and no phones or computers were allowed during this workshop to prevent any distractions. And if a team member was unable to make it to the workshop, they were required to attend a one-on-one with someone who did so that they can exchange information and everyone can be on the same page. Moving on to the agenda of the workshop, it starts with 10 things you didn't know about your facilitator, which facilitators shared 10 facts and achievements that they hadn't shared with the team before as kind of an icebreaker. And once other established employees participated, the presentation then transitioned the focus onto 10 things you didn't know we accomplished together, which went over team accomplishments in the past and brought up attention to what they're capable of doing together. And the next part of the agenda was getting to the vanilla. So skepticism and attitude from the marketing team was prevented by pointing out struggles that they had as well, so that everyone was held accountable for mistakes and no one felt any indifference or favoritism towards one or the other. And to support this, 2 workshop participants were interviewed prior to receive accurate feedback. So again, there was no bias. And observations of marketing activities also took place to see what was happening when they didn't expect to be seen. The teams then listed 10 issues that they have currently and 10 things that they think are going really well to contrast that. And I'll now pass it on to Alex to discuss the results of the workshop.
All right, thank you, Noel. So I'll discuss the results of the workshop. The workshop was an overall success, mainly because the disconnection between the marketing team and sales team went away. The first main result was that the marketing and sales team members felt that they were working as one team now instead of separate teams. Secondly, the communication improved greatly, and both teams actively praised each other. Moving on, why did the workshop work? The first reason that it was tangible. The Ice Cream Sunday was something that people could see, touch, and taste, helping them cement the ideas into their memory. The second reason was immediate gratification. The Ice Cream Sunday gave both teams a reason to pay attention in the moment. Third reason is broad appeal. Everyone loves ice cream. Fourth reason is participatory. This workshop allowed everyone to participate without having
Next slide, please. So additional meetings between sales and marketing does not necessarily equal better communication. For example, this question asks, how often do sales and marketing meet to review campaigns? Shown in this bar chart here, sales and marketing teams that met monthly exceeded revenue goals far more greater than teams that met weekly and so on. You can pause the video if you'd like to further analyze the data for other items labeled met revenue goals and missed revenue goals. How to sustain collaboration. Relying solely on product collateral will not expedite deals. Marketers might spend a lot of time creating new assets for the sales team because they are too lazy to modify existing materials. This may not be an efficient use of resources because there is no genuine need for more buyer information. It's vital that marketers address buyers' needs rather than the seller's preferences. Lack of engagement and insight is due to the misalignment between busy marketers and a resistant sales team. Successful organizations break down this barrier by actively engaging with buyers. Marketers at organizations that exceed revenue goals, one, prioritize customer and prospect meetings, two, involve buyers in developing sales enablement resources, and three, gather buyer feedback when evaluating sales tools. A crucial practice distinguishing those who exceed revenue goals from those who meet or miss them is establishing clear service level agreements between sales and marketing teams. Teams with the best performance, one, document SLAs, two, collect win-loss data, and three, collect data on lead scoring criteria and follow-up times. This approach ensures accountability and increased revenue performance. Also, maintaining database integrity is important. Sales and marketing must work together to ensure accurate data entry. Administrative database work is not just busy work, it's essential for optimizing marketing efforts and streamlining the sales process. Thank you. And that's the rest of our presentation.
Great. Okay, so everything was good. We just need those last two bullet points. Honestly, I only know how to cut stuff out of a video. I don't know how to add stuff. So if you guys know how to do that, then
What last two bullet points?
My slide, I just, yeah, I can
Also,
figure out how to add it.
Oh, wait, you were missing, like you forgot to say something?